It seems like forever that we played a game, but we're on to the next one, and this is we got challenges back to back. I mean, Baltimore was tough, and now another AFC North team, so we're looking forward to it. But with that, I'll just open it up.
Steve, just big picture, what were you most encouraged by the opener and discouraged by?
Yeah, I don't know. I always look at the discouraging things because we're always trying to get better. I did like, I mean, listen, we played the running back run plays fairly well. I mean, the quarterback was a whole nother issue. And we made some good plays. I mean, I remember rattling off in the meeting that we had Tuesday with the guys after they came back after their time, some of the real positives. And, the play that Trent made on the fourth down. And Jalen Watson had a PB pass breakup was really key. Chris's turnover, sack was really big. And there were a couple others in there throughout the game. But, and at the end of the day, what I did say to the unit was at the end of the day, our number one goal was points allowed. We shoot for 17, it was 20, so that gave our team a chance to win. I just didn't like the way it ended. The two explosive pass plays are probably the two that stick out. And we can clean those up, and if we can clean that up, that would have certainly helped us in that game.
What's the assignment stuff, zone coverage?
Okay, so there were two of them. Both of them, I think, were scrambles and extended downs, right? So you're dealing with an elite quarterback there. Had we done a better job there, I think that would have helped. On the back end, he's probably gonna throw some guys open on a scramble. We just need to get him tackled on one of them, and then at the end it was just kind of an eye discipline thing. They got the ball down there. Now the good part of that is we kept them in bounds on that play. Clock ran, and then they had a couple plays at the end. But that one is the one that stuck out. Had we played the end of the game defense a little bit better, it's funny how things work out, right? So they threw a couple of sideline throws, so they stopped, and that's what you got to do to get the ball down the field. And then on one play when we had him tackled is when Leo got hurt. And so the clock stops, But, it was one of those things, Leo was hurt, and unfortunately for us, it kind of gave a clock stoppage for them. But we would have liked to have been better in that.
Steve, the guys who practiced little or didn't practice at all at camp, Bolton,
Yeah.
Reed, well, maybe not so much Chris, but him too.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of them.
Watson.
Yeah.
Of those guys, did you see a lot of guys, guys still getting used to?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about that before.
Did you see it though?
A little bit. I mean, the concern was since we hadn't had enough reps together, because every year is different, that it wouldn't gel quite like we had at the end of last year. A little bit of that. I thought it was more. I mean, playing 80 plays is a lot of plays. Now, that's partly our fault, right? We can get off the field on a couple of third downs, and I thought it got tough at the end of the game because of that. And to your point, Adam, that those guys hadn't played, so they hadn't been in that's a different kind of conditioning. It's different than getting on a bike or running gassers and whatnot. And I think if you asked those guys, they'd tell you that they were just kind of gutting it out at the end. And fortunately for us, I mean, listen, I know the foot and the inches, the game inches, all that, but what I look at is, thank God. I mean, Nick could have been closer to that, but thank God he got there when he did to at least push him out enough that we got the black shoe on the white back end there,
Pete. Specifically on the Bolton Likely play, what's the coaching point with
At the end?
I'm talking about the touchdown.
The scramble. Yeah, well, there were a lot. I mean, it wasn't just Nick. I mean, when the quarterback starts to scramble, what we preach in zone coverage is it becomes like a basketball game. We got to plaster somebody. So Nick got caught plastering this tight end, so he gets it completed. But once the ball's thrown, we expect more red jerseys there to help out. And there was one player that could have been closer to where the ball was thrown that I think would have helped us. So there's a couple little things in there in our scramble drills that could be better.
Felix rotated in a little bit.
Say it again.
Felix, what have you maybe tangibly seen?
I'll tell you what, so Tuesday's meeting, when I got them together, I usually hit some positives, and then I hit the things I got to bang them on. But I just was into teaching on Tuesday and corrections. But the one play that I showed that I said I think goes unnoticed, it was a relentless play, was one that Felix made. They threw a rocket screen out to our right. And he turned and went. He made the play. Now, had he not made that, they had a hat for a hat, and it might have been one of those rocket schemes that goes a little bit further than we want to. So getting back to Felix, that play stuck out. And I thought he did an admirable job in the other stuff.
After the preseason and training camp that Jaden Hicks had, there was expectation he might be a
Yeah.
contributor. Doesn't get any snaps. Where's his?
He's gonna. That I think that will, as the season goes on, I think you'll see him get a few. He got some special team snaps. He's in one or two of our packages that we, didn't get to. But we got to start working him. And there's some other guys in the same boat. And I've talked to you guys about this before. We like to get those guys going early. This game was this Baltimore game was pretty tight, and so we kind of stuck with the guys. But I think as we get going here, he'll get a little bit more.
Certainly a
Couple
different
more, we'll
kind
start
of
with Todd.
offense you're dealing with this week.
Yeah.
The running quarterback won't be an issue this time around. What did you see from Burrow? You haven't seen him in a couple of years because he didn't play last year.
Yeah.
People think he doesn't look healthy. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. He looks pretty good to me. I've got a great deal of respect for this quarterback, the wide out, the whole offense, the coaches, the way they run their program. It's always been a tough out for us last year. I mean, in any year. And last year, even though Joe didn't play, I mean, I thought the backup Browning was really good. I mean, I just think they do a good job. They attack us a certain way, and it makes it really challenging. And we got to be on point. We certainly have to be better as a defense than we were last week, in my opinion.
He's been a guy that's been tough for you guys to get
Yeah.
on the ground. Is there something about?
He's not. Listen, I mean, he'd probably tell you he's not Lamar Jackson. It's not, but he's a lot better at evading a rush than I think people give him credit for. He's sneaky quick. He's very perceptive of what's going on. I mean, he knows exactly where to go with the ball, and if he can't get it in that spot early, he knows how to bide himself just enough time, to get the ball downfield. So we've talked a lot about that this week, that the containment of the quarterback on passes is really, really important.
Last one, Nick.
Yeah, Steve, with the Zach Taylor offense, what are some of the unique factors of it that make it different from other offenses?
Well, the quarterback is always going to make offensive schemes different. I just think the way they stick to what they do, they're one of those offenses that will try to find ways to get you to show them what you're doing so that they can get in the best play. And he's got a quarterback that does it as good as anybody, and I think that's always been a challenge for us. They're really good at that.